Hi. Welcome back to the Healthy Wisdom series with Dr. Jen Chen. I just couldn't move on to another series without paying homage to one of the best food inventions in the world. Today's star feature is none other than Instant Noodles. Healthy Wisdomers, have you ever felt torn about fully indulging, unapologetically enjoying a bowl of delicious, steamy instant noodles? Well, fret no more, because after this episode, you'll know the big purpose that Instant Noodles was birthed to fulfill, and you'll learn a healthier way to eat this culinary staple. Together, we will ensure that no one ever enjoys this genius creation with guilt ever again. I guess that's the purpose of me doing this episode today. I am dedicating it to what I consider one of the best inventions in this world. So whether you were Taiwanese, Japanese, Cantonese, or Korean, you'll see that this is a staple in every Asian household. So before we head into sort of the origins and the history of instant noodles, I wanted to do a little Chinese language, or I should say Asian language lesson. And let's learn how to say instant noodles in all four different cultural significances. So the first one is Mandarin. And how we say instant noodles has two different versions. We say 泡面 or 方便面. So 泡面, if you break it down, 泡 means submerged in water, and mian is noodles. So in all the common, the one common character in all of these four languages is going to be mian, which is noodles. So the second version of the Mandarin version of saying instant noodles is 方便面. So 方便meaning very convenient. So it's a convenient noodle, 方便面. So let's say it together. 泡面, 泡面. And 方便面, 方便面. So if you were to say this in Cantonese, it would be 即食麵, 即食麵. And that means 即食 means right away eating. So you could eat it instantly is basically like the literal translation of 即食. Because 即 means instantly. 食 means to eat. So 即食麵 is instantly eat noodles. And in Korean, it's called, usually, they have the flavor in front. So like a kimchi would be kimchi ramen. So ramen, if you were to break it down into its characters, ramen, basically it's a direct translation or a direct pronunciation of the Chinese version or Mandarin version of la mian, which means to pull the noodles. Pull is la and noodles is mian. So la mian is the Mandarin version, and both Koreans and Japanese language direct translates la mian into ramen and ramen. Okay, so I just wanted to at least give you a mini little introduction as to the different Asian ways of saying instant noodles. This is a very rich creation, considering it's been able to traverse so many different cultures and countries. I mean, it made its way into the North American market in the late 70s, as we will talk about when we go through the history. So the instant noodle was actually born in 1958, and the birthplace is none other than Japan. Now, one of the reasons it was, created there was because in the post-war era, Japan at the time was still suffering from a shortage of food. And the inventor, who was actually Taiwanese born, he's a Taiwanese born Japanese businessman, entrepreneur named Momofuku Ando. And he was inspired to invent an easy, quick, nutritious non-perishable food item that could actually feed the masses so that people in Japan at the time in the post-war era could have enough food. And so he set out to create this amazing product that later became known as instant noodles. So the world's first instant noodle was actually chicken ramen. So chicken, as we all know, is chicken, right? Because they used to make it with like a chicken soup base. And ramen, as we've said before, ramen is a literal translation of pulling the noodles. Because actually, if you look at how instant noodles are created, you do have to go through layers and layers of pulling the noodle, pulling the dough apart so that you can create these really beautiful ridges of floral dough. So Momofuku Ando is actually the entrepreneur who founded the Nissin Company, which is a huge food company that has pretty much taken over the entire instant noodle world. So how do we make instant noodles? Well, there's a couple of processes, but the general gist of it is that it is made by dehydrating steamed and seasoned noodles. And what they do is they either will oil fry it, or a healthier version in sort of like the modern day would be to actually have a non-fried version where they would dry the noodles by air drying it. So you have to probably so the air dried version usually uses a commercial fan. So you can't just, say, oh, I think I'm going to make instant noodles at home today and I'm just going to air dry, my noodles and be able to kind of create that same, sort of texture and taste, right? So there's definitely some equipment that's involved, but that honestly, if you guys are interested, we could definitely delve into, how to make instant noodles at home. Because definitely during my research, I found that it's actually doable. And I'm actually thinking of maybe experimenting myself. So I'm pretty sure you guys, as you are walking up and down the aisles of the instant noodles section in any supermarket, you'll find that there's always cup noodles, right? And little did we know, right? Cup noodles was actually launched in 1971. So about 13 years after the first chicken ramen was invented. And the reason why they, I guess, created this cup noodles version of it was because basically like it took, I guess, the market by the storm because instant noodles became such a great way for people to enjoy like a quick bowl of noodles that Momofuku Ando, he decided, hey, why not create something that's even more convenient? So he placed the instant noodles into a cup so that the featured flavored noodles are placed upright in a styrofoam container. And the reason why they originally started with the styrofoam container, which in Japan is still in the modern day, still very prevalent because it insulates heat very well. And so it's able to be easily disposed, and it is very light to carry, and it is very inexpensive, albeit it's not very environmentally friendly. But, I guess there are some sort of cost benefits, to sort of this creation. It is very, very convenient, though. And so later on, I guess in the Americas and other countries, we've replaced these styrofoam cups with plastic, or actually in Taiwan, a lot of it is in like a reinforced paper version. And so this trend actually became a pretty cool, it took off. It took off it became very, very popular. And so with the instant noodles, what they've done is they've directly incorporated the seasoning into there. So rather than have a packet of seasoning, in the cup noodles version, you would have the seasoning pretty much already spread onto the noodles. And then on top of that, you would accompany that with some freeze-dried shrimp, pork, dehydrated egg, pieces of it, and also some vegetables that are also dehydrated. And so they were able to create different flavors, specific to specific countries as well. So, for example, in Thailand, they would have a tom yum version of cup noodles. And in Hong Kong, people love crab. So crab is one of the featured flavors. And this is an interesting one because I didn't know that in Brazil they enjoy bolognese sauce. So I guess bolognese sauce is the specialty in Brazil. So again, I would love to try one of the ones from Brazil because I've never had that in my instant noodles. So very, very curious to try that. So this innovative cup creation combined three different functions, right? We talked about the cup, right? The packaging material itself is within. So you have the cup and the lid, right? That's sealed. Number two, that cup serves as a cooker, right? Because basically you pour in boiling water and boom, you've got a bowl of noodles. And the third thing that is very obvious is that it serves as a bowl. So you can actually eat the noodles from there. And in Asia, most of the time, you'll also see within the packaging that they include like a little fork for you so that you may actually enjoy. So a plastic fork inside so that you don't even have to bring your own utensils. And generally, it's very, very intelligently packed in there as a fork that's folded in half that you can actually bend and put in place. Or snap it in place as you will hear a snap as you form the fork in its full size. Very, very clever. So here's a question that I thought to myself, have you ever wondered why instant noodles was so successful? Well, there were actually 5 principles that Momofuku Ando set forth when he was creating this product. And I thought it was really, really neat to be I was actually inspired by his 5 principles because they really hit the spot for, at the time, 1950s post-war Japan. Number 1, obviously, because it needed to feed the masses, this product, right, which is the instant noodle, needed to be affordable. And it is so affordable. I remember back in the day, even in the 1990s, a pack of instant noodles cost like less than 60 cents, maybe even less than 50 cents. So literally you could have a small meal for about 50 cents. If you didn't add anything else to your noodles, you could be full from 50 cents. And that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of instant noodle eating generally happens, in groups such as students, entrepreneurs who are building their business, and even I found like the new ways of using instant noodles is actually because you can actually pop it in like an emergency pack so that, just in case you have a power outage or you have some form of God forbid, apocalypse, you have something to turn to. So affordability is number 1. Number 2 was convenience. And as we've described before, with the packaging of a cup of noodles, super convenient. I've also seen actually that even without the cup, apparently the way that they've made the bags, I just thought of this just right now because I remember seeing a video way back many years before where you could literally cook your noodles even in the instant noodles bag itself. You don't even need a cup. So really, really, really clever because I think they make it in as a subset of like some type of aluminum material is what makes up the bag. So very, very clever, very, very actually sturdy for its purpose. But also convenience in cooking time because it only takes 2 to 3 minutes, and the ease of the stuff that's needed is literally just boiling water, right? So you require nothing else but just boiling water. And the third thing is safety and hygiene. Anything that gets like heated up to that amount of temperature, as in like the